On this episode of Curtain Call, we're in Halifax, Nova Scotia, to visit the most well-known theatre in the province, the Neptune Theatre. Deep in the busy heart of Halifax stands the Neptune Theatre, a long-running staple here in the arts and entertainment world of Nova Scotia. Now, I've had the chance to film a couple of projects within these walls, but even better, I've had the chance to be an audience member experiencing some of the greatest stories I have ever seen in person. One of the personal moments for me comes in 2011. It's my first full year as a filmmaker, and I got to work on a music video that was screening here at the Neptune. And in that audience, a few rows away from me, was somebody that we are fairly familiar with, Billy Boyd, who notably played Pippin in the Lord of the Rings movies. Now, to have a project of mine that I had a hand in helping with, screening in front of somebody who was acting in one of the real game changers for me as a filmmaker in terms of film series, was a moment that I will never forget. Today, we get a backstage pass. We get to go in there before the doors even open to show you everything that the Neptune Theatre has. So join us as we tour through history here at the Neptune. Even for those not involved in the performing arts, the Neptune Theatre has become one of the most recognizable names in the province. A constant for Halifax, Nova Scotia, the Neptune has been a consistent supporter of the arts over its long history. We were lucky enough to visit the theatre to take in all of what it has to offer, as well as sit down with current artistic director, Jeremy Webb.
I am the artistic director of Neptune Theatre. What does that job entail? I am essentially responsible for anything that appears on stage or I guess anywhere in the building artistically. So I have to select plays, I cast actors, I hire other directors, designers, creative people on the shows. And it all comes through me. It's a really small, weird, wonderful, terrifying job. I first moved to Canada, got off the plane, and started rehearsals for a show here in 1998. And then since then, I think I have pretty much done any and all jobs in this building. And then 5.5 years ago, they gave me this job. And it had been a plan. It'd been something that I'd been working towards for the previous 10 years. Since I hit my 40th birthday, I was like, what do I want to do with the rest of my life? That's what I want to do. Neptune Theatre, as we know and understand it now, that all happened in 1963. That's when founding artistic director Leon Major, who is still with us, and actually scheduled to come back to the building in just a few days' time to join us for some rehearsals. The group of artists decided that Neptune needed its own theater, professional theater. Remember, this is at a time when the Stratford Festival in Ontario was just starting. So it was very early days for what we now understand as regional professional theater. But Neptune was one of the first. And it happened right here on this corner of Argyle and Sackville. Like theaters have struggled across the world forever. It was a struggle persuading the city that they needed a theater right here in Halifax. It's not the Halifax we know now. I've spent a lot of time with Leon comparing notes, and it seems the struggles are the same. It's persuading people that, yeah, they do want a theater, and yeah, they do want to come and be entertained, and yes, they do want to support it financially. But back then, of course, there wasn't a 60-year history to call upon, which is what I have now. Well, Neptune is, I mean, it's a well-used phrase, but it's like a cornerstone, right? So we here as the largest theater in Nova Scotia, we feed and are fed by all of the other theaters. So, you know, during the pandemic, there was a period where, like all theaters across the country, there was a chance that Neptune wouldn't get through. You know, audiences disappeared because of the pandemic. And you have to imagine that if Neptune's not here, it will have an impact on the whole artistic culture of the province. I always think about when the film industry was really damaged by the cutting of the tax credit a few years ago, and people left because they needed to work. So this place engages hundreds of artists every year, off stage and on stage. By having that Neptune contract, even if it's one show a year or one every couple of years, you know, artists feel the connection. The other most important thing, I think, for this building, for this institution, is that we supply space, we supply support, and our energy to our colleagues in all those other companies across the province. One thing I noticed when I first moved here 25 years ago is that Canada doesn't really have a star system, right? So it's very Canadian and very humble. But if there's an actor that's working in Canada today, they have probably been across the Neptune stage at some point. People like Brent Carver, Charlotte Moore, locally artists like Frank McKay, the late great Frank McKay, who some of your viewers will remember as a great R&B bluesman, singer, rocker in the 60s and 70s. So there have been artists all the way through, and we try and make sure that not only are we supporting and hiring emerging artists to come and act here, but, you know, yeah, let's try and bring in some of those really exciting artists that make their base in other cities. Quite often, the thing that we hear the most is, wow, the show was so good, it was like watching something on Broadway. And then I always point out, well, if you look at the program, you'll notice that 3 of the actors you just watched were on Broadway last year. It's the same actors, right? It's been so great to hire people and to bring people back that haven't been at Neptune for 20 years. And yeah.
Over the long history of the Neptune Theatre, an endless list of plays have graced the stages inside. The variety allows for anyone and everyone to find something to love as they take in the stories told. Some of which stuck out personally for artistic director Jeremy Webb.
Yeah, I mean, I think actually it's still one of my top 5 productions here. There are 2 that I want to mention. One, whilst I have been the artistic director, but I had nothing to do with the show artistically. And the other one was years ago. It was a stage production of the play Of Mice and Men. And it was directed by Dennis Garnham. And it was spectacularly good. I've never seen a set so utilized. I can't even describe it. I'd spend hours talking about it. But and then more recently, I think probably still my favorite show that I've ever seen here. I did program it, but I didn't work on it directly, and that was the Canadian premiere of The Color Purple, the musical. It was mind-numbingly satisfying and beautiful, and just really captured the audience, and great success.
During our time filming at the Neptune, the 2023 and 2024 season was just about to launch, and the excitement surrounding that lineup of shows was immediately felt.
Well, we announced earlier in the year this season, it's a very exciting one for us because, last year was all about it being the first fulsome major season out of the pandemic, and here we are now continuing on. We're still here. I mean, any theater, any arts organization that survived that pandemic needs a round of applause, I think. So, that's very exciting. We have, as with all regional theaters, we have to cater to a very broad range of people that want to come here. So we have a lot of comedy this year. That was one thing we heard. People want comedy. So The Play That Goes Wrong is the first play in our season. The silliest play in the world called Murder for Two it comes up pretty quick. Cinderella. The Full Monty is our season closer. These are all fun, upbeat, crazy shows. And then, of course, we have some classic theater like Rosencrantz and Guildenstern Are Dead by Tom Stoppard, where we've got two of the stars of Lord of the Rings, Billy Boyd and Dominic Moynihan, coming here to be in that show. And of course, what that show is doing is it's really helping Neptune once again be on the map. And people across the country are coming to visit Halifax to see those two guys in this show. So it's an exciting year. And so we're in this year. I'm right now putting the finishing touches on the 24-25 season. So I'm always 18 months in advance. So I can't wait to tell you what's coming the year after, and I'm not allowed to, so don't ask me.
While so much happens within the walls of the theater, one major focus of the Neptune is to help educate, nurture, and support those within the ever-growing arts community of Nova Scotia.
When I started 5 years ago, there'd been a bit of a period of disconnect with the community. So a few things that we did really practically and visibly straight away is we formed a partnership with the Halifax Fringe Festival. The official term is we're in cahoots with the Fringe Festival, whatever that means. And so we give them space to have their festival partly here, as well as at the Bus Stop Theatre and other venues around the town. We formulated a mentorship program, a paid mentorship program for emerging artists to join us and work with us on our productions called the Chrysalis Program. And that has brought in at least 30 or 40 artists into our building. We've paid them to be here and learn on the job about what it takes to be behind the scenes of our shows. We do emerging playwright programs as well. There's one called Incubator. So we're nurturing and fostering talent there. It's really important for me as artistic director to recognize that we have a place in this community and we need to participate and be visible and be active. And that's what we've really strived to do over the last five years. But it's also important to recognize and acknowledge the history of this space and of the way that we have and the way that we've created here on this corner in this land, right? And acknowledge those that have come before. So you'll notice in our lobby, we recognize all the former artistic directors who have given of their time, their blood, and sweat, and tears just to keep this place going. And that's really important.
For those heading to the show at the Neptune, here's a little peek at what you'll see as an audience member. Immediately upon entering the building, the bright and beautiful lobby welcomes you with open arms. Once you've caught your breath, you'll head to the right and to the box office to pick up your ticket for the show. After grabbing your ticket, you'll head to the bar area, which was closed during our filming. But during shows, you'll be able to grab a refreshment and mingle before heading into the theater itself. Once you're ready, you'll head through the doors and enter Fountain Hall as you make your way to your seat, ready to enjoy the show. Fountain Hall also has balcony seating for those looking for a different view of the performance. During our filming, the theater was set for the upcoming show, The East Coast Kitchen Party, with incredible attention to detail to the design on stage. While the Neptune Theatre has a rich history overflowing with stories that could fill several books, the future is also something that is incredibly important for those behind the scenes at the theater, including what the experience will be for those visiting the iconic venue.
Yeah, I very clearly said when I took over that I wanted Neptune for artists to be what I called a destination gig. I want artists from across the country to see what we're doing here and the quality of the work we're doing and the approach we're taking and say, oh, I want in on that. I want to be in Halifax, in Nova Scotia. And of course, over the last few years, we've seen so many people making a new home for themselves and moving here. I don't know that it's necessarily just to do with what we've been doing, but artists are starting to almost like be magnetized and come to Nova Scotia, which is beautiful. I really wanted the doors of this building to be open to the community and to be welcoming and inclusive. And we've worked really hard on that over the last 5 years with our programming, with our casting and our hiring practices. And our audiences, I think, have taken note of that, which is very exciting.
One amazing aspect of the Neptune Theatre is their focus on youth performers, those who will grace the stage for generations to come. I had the chance to catch up with a local performer joining us digitally while away for school, who had gone through the youth programming at the theater.
My name is Phoebe Rex. I've been involved in the theater community for about 10 years now. I started my first professional show at Neptune Theatre in A Christmas Carol.
So when do you first remember kind of getting interested in the theater world?
I have always been sort of interested in performance and, sort of being the center of attention when I was little. But honestly, it was through Neptune summer camps and stuff that I've really started to hone an special interest for it. Summer camps that my parents would send me to all throughout my childhood. Just being in a space where theater was happening, where people were like-minded, I think really kick-started that.
So you mentioned the summer camps there. Can you kind of run us down what those camps looked like?
The summer camps were super fun because they would be these 1 week intensive themed experiences catered towards young children. So you'd have your standard theater games, you'd play Zip Zap Zop, and you'd have lunchtime and do all of this, but towards the end of the week, you'd work towards a performance that you would share with parents and family and friends who would come to see. And these camps would be themed. I remember one year I did like a spy camp, and one year there was like Percy Jackson themed camp. Like it really caters towards every single interest that a kid could possibly have, and somehow just incorporates it all into this experience where you're getting to put on a show at the end.
I know that you've been involved with Neptune in some way or another for a very long time. Can you kind of run us down what that relationship has looked like over the years?
I'm very lucky to have worked closely with Neptune through my youth and into my teens. I started off with the summer camps. Then when I was 13, I jumped at the chance to audition for their youth performance company, YPCO. And that was a part of my life from the time I was 13 until I graduated high school. So I've done a number of shows with them through that and was lucky enough to work with so many talented, incredible people, people who I have worked with since in professional settings, and also have met just like lifelong friends who are passionate about the same things I am. And I am still in contact with the school and I'm cheering them on, and I can't wait to see what they do next.
Phoebe, for you personally, what have been some of your favorite aspects of being involved with the Neptune Theatre?
I think having a program for kids who are so young or within that 13, 18 range of their lives, because it's such a period of transition, and especially in my time, we were going through a global pandemic. Like, there was a lot of uncertainty in that time. So I think having a program that cemented me in a community where I had like-minded friends, I had a group of people standing around me was really, really important. So I'd say the social aspect of it. I mean, it's a youth program. You're there to make friends and have fun. And I think what makes the program so special is that the fun of it all is really, really emphasized and highlighted. It's kept at the core of its value.
Now, you've also acted on screen for film and television. Did your experience at Neptune help prep you for that side of performing?
Absolutely. I think that the discipline and the value of hard work that you learn in a program like that transfers over incredibly well. I also think that the ability to network and to meet people through the program has served me immensely in my professional film acting career. I know that the program is designed to give youth an opportunity to experience high stakes moments in the industry, such as auditions and performances in a low stakes educational environment. And so I think that being able to experience that first made me build the skills that I needed to sort of succeed professionally.
Phoebe, for you, why is having, the workshops, the programs, the camps that Neptune puts on, why is that so important for youth in the performing arts?
I think that it's important because youth, we're the next generation of artists in this province and in this country. And so creating spaces for education and for knowledge to be passed down is incredibly, incredibly important. Not only, again, does it let us build the skills that we need to have professional careers, but it also allows us to meet each other and to meet, future collaborators possibly. I think it's an incredibly valuable space for the future of the industry to have.
Now, I've just got one more question for you. What is your hope and goal for the future of youth performance here in Nova Scotia?
I would love to see more professional opportunities for younger people. Programs like these are amazing because they provide performance opportunities for young people, but I think we need to create an environment where we trust young people to do their thing and to be professional. And I think that programs like these is the stepping stone to getting there. More youth theater in Nova Scotia. I'm all for it.